Jai Guruji Maharaj, Shukranaguruji Maharaj. With folded hands and gratitude in my heart, I bow to the lotus feet of a beloved Guruji. With his divine grace and due permission, let us immerse ourselves in the nectar of the holy Shivapurāna. Today, let's begin reading the Shivapurāna Vidyeśvara Śamhita, Chapter 13, Description of Good Conduct. This is day 20 of the audiobook. Chapter 13, Description of Good Conduct. The sages said, "Kindly tell us the mode of good conduct, whereby the sensible man quickly attains higher worlds. Please tell us about virtue and evil that cause attainment of heaven or hell." Sooth said, "A Brahmin endowed with strict adherence to good conduct is perfectly wise. A Brahmin learned in Vedas and of good conduct is called a Vipra. A Brahmin endowed with only one of these two is a mere Dvij. A Brahmin following some of the prescribed rules of conduct and with a smattering of the Vedas is a Kshatriya Brahmin, at best a royal servant. Very careless in following the rules of conduct, the Brahmin is really a Vaishya Brahmin. One engaged in agriculture and trading activities is also likewise. A Brahmin ploughing the field himself is a Shudra Brahmin. One of envious and spiteful temperament is a degraded Dvij. A Kshatriya who rules over a kingdom is a king. Others are mere Kshatriyas. A merchant dealing in grains, etc. is a Vaishya, and others of his caste are mere Varniks. A person rendering service to Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas is called a Shudra. A working agriculturalist is a Vrishal, and the others are Dasyus. It is a duty of every one of the four castes to get up early in the morning and sit facing the east and meditate on gods. He shall then think about the various acts of virtue, of matters regarding monetary dealings, the problems connected with them, the sources of income, and the items of expenditure. The direction in which one casts one's first glance on waking up indicates the good or bad that is likely to attend one on that day. The 8 effects in order are longevity, hatred, death, sin, fortune, sickness, nourishment, and strength. The last yam, 3 hours of the night, is called Usha, and the latter half of it is Sandhi, period of conjunction. A Brahmin shall get up at that hour and answer the calls of nature. It must be in a place far off from the house. It must be a covered place. He shall sit facing the north. If it is not possible due to any obstacle, he can sit facing other directions. He must never sit in front of water, fire, a Brahmin, or the idol of any god. He must screen the penis with his left hand and the mouth with the right. After evacuating the bowels, the feces should not be looked at. Water drawn out in a vessel should be used for cleaning. That is, no one should sit inside the tank or river water for cleaning purpose. Anyway, no one shall enter the holy tanks and rivers dedicated to deities, maids, etc. and frequented by the sages. The rectum must be cleaned with mud 7, 5 or 3 times. The penis must be cleaned with mud as large as a cucumber fruit, and the quantity of mud for the purification of the rectum shall be prasriti, half a handful. After the purification of the excretory organs, hands and feet must be washed, and gargling shall be done for 8 times. For gargling, the water can be taken in any vessel or a wooden cup, but water shall be spit outside, not in the river or tank. Washing of the teeth with any leaf or twig must be without using the index finger and outside the water. After making obeisance to the gods of water, the twice born shall perform the ablution with mantras. Sick or weak persons shall take bath up to the neck or hips. Sprinkling water up to the knees, he shall perform the mantra snan. He shall propitiate deities, etc. sensibly with the water from the holy tank or river. A washed, dry cloth should be taken and worn in the form of panchakach, wearing of the lower garment in a special way. In all sacred rites, the upper cloth should also be used. While taking bath in the holy river or tank, the cloth worn shall not be rinsed or beaten. The sensible man shall take it to a separate tank or well, or to the house itself, and beat it on a rock or on a plank to the gratification of the manes, O Brahmins. The Tripundrak shall be drawn on the forehead with the Jabalak mantra. If anyone enters water otherwise, he will surely go to hell. According to scholarly authorities, the mantra snan is as follows. Repeating the mantra, Apohishtha, etc., water shall be sprinkled over the head for suppressing sins. Repeating the mantra, Yasya Kshyai, etc., water shall be sprinkled over the joints in the legs. The order is as follows. Feet, head, chest, feet, and chest, feet, head for sprinkling with water thrice. It is enough if one performs mantra snan when one is slightly indisposed, or when there is a danger from the king, or when there is civil commotion, or when there is no other way, or when one is about to undertake a journey. He shall drink by way of Achman, reciting the mantras from Suryanuvak in the morning or from Agni Anuvak in the evening, and perform the ceremonial sprinkling in the middle. O Brahmins, at the end of the jap of Gayatri mantra, Arghya shall be offered thrice to the sun towards east and once also thereafter. The offering of Arghya in the morning is by lifting both the hands high up, that in the midday by letting off the water through the fingers, and that in the evening by letting the water over the ground facing the west. In the midday, the sun is to be viewed through the fingers, reciting the mantra prescribed for that. The circumambulation of oneself is performed in the prescribed manner, and the pure Achman without mantras is performed. Sandhya prayer performed before the prescribed time is ineffective. Hence, Sandhya shall be performed at the prescribed time. The expiatory rite for the omission of Sandhya prayer for a day is the repetition of Gayatri 100 times more than the usual number of times for 10 days. If the omission is for 10 days or more, Gayatri must be repeated for 100,000 times as atonement. If one omits Sandhya for a month, one has to be reinvested with the sacred thread. For the sake of prosperity, deities shall be propitiated such as Ish, Gauri, Guha, Vishnu, Brahma, Chandra, the moon, and Yam. Thereafter, the entire rite shall be dedicated to the Supreme Brahman, and pure Achman shall be performed. Towards the right of the holy water, in a splendid prayer hall, temple, or a common mutt, or in a stipulated place in one's own house, one shall sit firmly with the mind in concentration and perform the Gayatri jap after due obeisance to all gods. He shall not omit the practice of the Pranav mantra. While practicing the Pranav, he shall realize fully the identity of Jiv, the individual soul, with the Supreme Brahman. The full implication of the Gayatri must be borne in the mind when the jap is performed. We pray to Brahma, the creator of the three worlds, to Achyut, the sustainer, and Rudra, the annihilator. We meditate on the self-luminary that prompts us in the activities of virtue and wisdom, bestowing enjoyment and salvation. The self-luminary that is the driving force behind the sense organs, mind, intellect, and acts of volition. The devotee who dwells thus on the meaning constantly attains the Brahman. Or if incompetent to dwell on the meaning, let him at least continue the recitation of the mere mantra to keep his Brahminhood intact. An excellent Brahmin must repeat the mantra 1,000 times in the morning every day. Others shall repeat as many times as they can. In the midday, Gayatri shall be repeated 100 times. In the evening, at least 20 times, along with Shikashtaka, a set of 8 as the tuft, that is 8 times more than stipulated. He shall meditate on Vidyeśvara, Brahma, Vishnu, Ish, Jivatman, and Parmeshwar, stationed in the 12 esoteric center of the body from Mooladhara. Basic support to the Brahmarandra, the mystical aperture at the crown of the head. As identical with Brahman with the conception of Soham, I am he, and continue the jap. He shall then meditate on them as stationed outside the body as well. From Mahat Tattva, the cosmic principle, there are 1,000 extraneous bodies, each of which is to be passed by each mantra slowly, and the Jiv must be unified with the Supreme. This is the principle on which the jap is based. This jap, for the sake of the extraneous bodies, is for 2,000 times with the Shikashtaka. This is the tradition regarding the japas. Repetition for 1,000 times accords Brahmahood, and that for 100 times accords the region of Indra. Repetition for less number of times may guard the soul to a certain extent and bring about rebirth in the family of a Brahmin. After the worship of the sun, the Brahmin shall practice thus every day. A Brahmin who has completed 1,200,000 repetitions becomes a full-fledged Brahmin. A Brahmin who has not completed at least 100,000 repetitions of Gayatri is not authorized in Vedic rites. Till he completes his 70th year, he shall follow these rules. Afterwards, he can take to renunciation. After renunciation, he shall repeat the pranav 12,000 times in the morning every day. Omissions and deficiencies of one day must be made good the next day. If the omission is continued for a month, the atonement is repetition for 150,000 times. If the omission extends beyond this, he shall take the order of sannyas afresh. Then only can the defect be fully effaced. Otherwise, he is sure to fall into Raurav, the terrible hell. Only the person who has a cherished desire shall endeavor for virtue and wealth, and not others. A Brahmin shall seek salvation and practice the ways of realizing Brahman forever. From virtue, wealth is derived, and from wealth, enjoyment. Vairagya, non-attachment, is the outcome of enjoyment. That is to say, when one fully enjoys the pleasures by means of wealth acquired by virtuous means, one comes to the stage of Vairagya, detached state. If the enjoyment is through the wealth acquired by other means, the result is the increase of passion alone. Dharma is twofold, one through the sacrificial offering and the other through the body by performing ceremonial ablutions in a sacred river, etc. One can earn wealth through virtue and divine form through penance. A person freed from desire gains purity, and by purity he acquires knowledge. There is no doubt about it. In the ages of Krita, Treta and Dwapar, penance was recommended for attaining dharma. But in the age of Kali, it is a sacrificial offering that secures dharma for us. In the Krita age, knowledge was acquired through meditation, in the Treta through penance, in the Dwapar through sacrifice, and now in the Kali age, it is through the worship of idols. The fruit is in accordance with the nature of merit and sin. Deficiency, increase, decrease, etc. are due to the difference in the articles employed and the part of the body and items of rites. Evil is of violent character and virtue is of pleasant nature. A person becomes miserable due to evil and secures happiness on account of virtue. It must be known that bad conduct leads to misery and good conduct to happiness. Hence, it is a duty of everyone to acquire virtue for the sake of worldly enjoyment as well as salvation. If anyone regularly offers sufficient material means to a Brahmin with 4 members in his family for 100 years, he will remain in Brahmalok. The rite of Chandrayan, performed 1,000 times, yields Brahmalok. It is the duty of a Kshatriya to establish and sustain 1,000 families. It yields Indralok to him. If he maintains 10,000 families, he attains Brahmalok. According to scholars in the Vedas, a man attains the region of that deity in meditation of whom he makes charitable gifts. A man devoid of wealth shall endeavor to accumulate penance and austerities. Everlasting happiness is achieved by pilgrimages to holy centers and penances. Now I shall expound the mode of acquiring wealth through pure and lawful means. A Brahmin shall earn wealth without cringing or exerting himself too much. He can accept monetary gifts and fees for presiding over sacrifices duly performed. A Kshatriya shall earn wealth by valorous exploits and a Vaishya by means of agriculture and cattle breeding. The charitable gifts of wealth acquired by lawful means alone are attended with good results. Salvation is achieved by the acquisition of perfect knowledge by everyone with the blessings of the preceptor. Salvation is realization of one's own real form and the perfect bliss. O Brahmins, men realize all these things only if they cultivate the association of good people. A householder shall make charitable gifts of everything like money, grain, etc. A person who desires permanent welfare for himself shall give to Brahmins fruit, grain or other articles, especially when the need for the same arises. Water shall always be given to the thirsty. Food shall be given to the hungry and the sick. Gift of food is of 4 types: field, unhusked grain or seed, uncooked food, and cooked food. A giver of food receives half the merit of the receiver, which he accumulates till the time that food is digested or as long as the glory of lordship reaches his ears. The receiver of a gift must expiate for his sin by means of charities or by making gifts to others, otherwise he will fall into the roar of hell. Everyone shall set apart a third of his wealth for dharma, another third for vriddhi, flourishing, and the rest for his bhog, enjoyment. With the part intended for dharma, he shall perform the 3 rites of virtue, viz. Nitya, daily prayers, etc., Namitika, casual acts of piety, and Kamya, specific rites for the fulfillment of desires. By means of the second part, he shall increase his wealth. By utilizing the third part, he shall enjoy with restraint in pure and wholesome ways. 1/10 of the wealth acquired by agricultural operations must first be given in charity before making the 3-fold divisions in order to wipe off the sin. He can utilize the rest as mentioned before, otherwise he shall fall into Rara. Or he is sure to be evil-minded, hastening towards his own certain ruin. Sensible persons acquiring much wealth by way of usury or trading activities must likewise give away 1/6 of that wealth in charity before making the 3-fold divisions. Excellent Brahmins, accepting monetary gifts from decent people, shall give away 1/4 of that wealth in charity. They shall likewise give away half in charity in case of an unexpected windfall. If a Brahmin accepts a monetary gift from an indecent fellow, he shall give away the entire amount in charity. A defiled gift shall be thrown into the sea. It is more creditable if one invites persons and makes gifts to them. One's own enjoyment gains by it. A man must give others what they beg of him according to his ability. If a thing requested for is not given, he will be indebted to that extent even in his next birth. A sensible person shall not proclaim others' faults. O Brahmin, whatever is seen or heard should not be spitefully repeated. An intelligent man shall not speak words wounding the hearts of others. For achieving prosperity, he shall perform sacred rites in the fire at dawn and at dusk. Persons unable to perform the same both the times shall do so once, worshipping the sun and the fire duly. Raw rice, other food grains, ghee, fruits, bulbous fruits, cooked food soaked in ghee for sacrificial rites, all these things shall be duly used as prescribed in the sacred texts. Sthalipak, offerings of cooked food in the vessel itself, shall be performed at the stipulated time in the manner laid down. If there is no havya, cooked rice offering, the main sacrifice alone shall be performed. Thus the daily rites have been narrated. These shall be performed always, or repeated muttering of mantra alone, or the worship of the sun shall be performed. Those who seek welfare of the soul shall do like this. A person who seeks wealth also shall do likewise. All persons devoted to Brahma Yagya, worship of gods, worship of fire, reverence to preceptors, and gratification of Brahmins deserve to attain heaven. With this, I would like to conclude today's chapter. First and foremost, I would like to seek forgiveness from a beloved Guruji for the mistakes in the narration of this divine chapter. I would also like to seek forgiveness from each and every one of you for the same, and would like to invite you to the reading of next divine chapter from the holy Shiv Puran. Thank you, Guruji, for everything. Thank you each and every one of you.